It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our graduate commencement speaker. Dr. Faith Prather is an associate professor in the Department of Public Administration, where she has taught since 1989. In addition to teaching, Dr. Prather has served the college in numerous ways, including as interim director for affirmative action and as interim assistant provost for diversity. She is the co-founder of the college's Women's Center and was one of the inaugural recipients of the Fannie Berry Williams Women of Courage Award. She has shared her professional expertise with numerous organizations, including the United Way's African American Leadership Development Program, the Rochester Department of Social Services, the National Drug Court Institute, and the Rochester City School District. Dr. Prather is also a recipient of SUNY's highest honor, receiving the Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Teaching in 1999. We are so thrilled that Dr. Prather agreed to share her words of wisdom with you today, since she is retiring from the college this spring. I know that she will be truly missed not only by the students, but by her colleagues and friends as well. I now invite Dr. Faith Prather to come forward and deliver this year's graduate ceremony commencement address.
Thank you, President McPherson. To the class of 2018, congratulations. You have achieved something no one can take from you. Commencement gives us an opportunity to celebrate education, what it means to us, and how it shapes our lives. Your degree is a great accomplishment. However, there is something to say, something to celebrate about what it took to bring you to this special day. Learning is a process. You've not only been taking in facts, figures, principles, concepts, and theories, you have been developing degrees of self-awareness. Think about the time you finally recognized you had as much to contribute to class discussion as anyone else. It didn't matter if it had been years since you've been in school. It didn't matter if you had work experience or if you were one of the youngest students in the class. Remember how you confronted the class member who didn't carry their weight in the group project? It took gumption, but you did. By this time, you probably have a story or two about the way you managed your disappointment over not getting an A. And by now, you may have developed some insight on how well you accept criticism. These starbursts of self-awareness will follow you into the boardroom, frame the way you give feedback to a struggling employee, determine how you negotiate your salary, and impact the way you stand up to tough situations in the workplace. Graduate students are people who go to school on purpose. Even if they find themselves still sorting out exactly where they want to focus, graduate students perform with a contagious sense of enthusiasm. You could even call it a sense of urgency. They want to do something else, something more. Work is not just a job, it is a calling. And the degree holds the promise of making that happen. Education bolsters the sense of who we are and broadens our reach. One of my friends was asked, "Why on earth are you bothering with another degree? You have everything." And my friend responded, "I cannot keep going on like this. I have to have meaning in my morning." For a few moments, let's look at what brings meaning to your work life. Let's take a glimpse at the real world, where some of you have talked about developing your own organizations. The real world, where you hope to push boundaries, where you hope to make a difference. Over the past 2 years, my students in organizational behavior have participated in a project which reminds us that pictures are worth 1,000 words. In this assignment, students asked diverse groups of employees in a variety of work settings to draw a picture or symbol that describes how they see their organization. The drawings include brief explanations. This unique assignment is based on an international study which suggests that employee drawings are an effective, non-threatening way to get at how people really feel about their work situations, and that discussions about the drawings reveal useful information to introduce change and improve the workplace. Here are some examples. On the positive side, employees depict their organizations as marching bands, well-running clocks, and ant colonies and beehives. As you might expect, these drawings signify harmony, strong leadership, and teamwork. In one drawing, the employee explains, the organization is a tree with deep roots and a large trunk supporting branches with an abundance of leaves. I am a branch on the tree, growing from a culture that cultivates creativity and commitment to meaningful work. Our last positive example is a manager's drawing of a lamppost. The caption reads, "My role is not only to give direction, but to shed light." In the next set of images, we move to darker perceptions of life in the workplace. Unfortunately, over the past 2 years, the negative perceptions outnumber the positive images. Here are 4 examples. In one picture, the employee states, "The organization is an orchestra. Everyone knows their part, but 2 people refuse to practice." In the next drawing, the employee tells us, "The organization is a relay race. I am on the racetrack. I feel strong. I want to keep moving. I want to win. Some of my teammates are running, but too many are just walking." In another drawing, an administrator presents this description. "Our program is like a Ferris wheel of employees. I'm at the gate bringing in excited new people, but the unfixed problems bring them down and they end up leaving, usually on bad terms." In our final image, an employee expresses this point of view. "The workplace is like a forest where I get firewood for survival. I go there, avoid the beast, get my wood, and go home." How would any of us turn these situations around? How do we get back to the organization as a tree with supportive branches and an abundance of leaves? We have our work cut out for us. Communication, interpersonal conflict, discrimination, and sexual harassment consistently top the list of workplace issues. And more recently, organizations are dealing with a costly trend of employee turnover. Organizations are seeking ways to address several complex questions. As our workplace grows more diverse, how do we create a more inclusive work environment? Why do people leave their jobs? How do we get them to stay? The sustainable workplace we desire, or in Brockport's energetic language, a great place to work for, is everyone's responsibility. Every issue cannot go to HR, and not every problem requires litigation. Class of 2018, no matter what your position in the organization, how will you contribute to building community in your workplace? How will you help to build a culture of acceptance, fairness, and civility? The modern day organization requires a willingness to open the doors of how we see things as wide as possible. The poet Mary Oliver offers this perspective. I don't ask for the sights in front of me to change, only the depth of my seeing. The challenges of the contemporary workplace compel us to spend extra time talking and extra time listening. This is our other job, our other hard work. Words matter, feelings matter, context matters. You can tweet, you can text, you can email, voicemail, blog, Facebook, Instagram. But one day, you will have to meet up, eyeball to eyeball, nose to nose, and respond to the total expression of others. And what about listening, often referred to as the forgotten skill? Brenda Euland, a witty freelance journalist in the 1930s, was known to live by two rules: to tell the truth and not do anything she didn't want to do. In her essay, Tell Me More, The Fine Art of Listening, she offers this advice. We should all know this, that listening, not talking, is the gifted and great role. Listening is the imaginative role. So try listening. Listen to those who love you and to those who don't. Listen to those who bore you. Listen to your enemies. It will work a small miracle and perhaps a great one. In the fantasy comedy film Bruce Almighty, we watched Jim Carrey portray a down-on-his-luck TV reporter, Bruce Nolan. One day, thanks to divine intervention, Bruce finds himself in control of his universe. It seems he can make anything happen. Absolutely out of his mind elated about his newfound ability, Bruce picks up a little swagger, takes on a little beat, and dances down the streets shouting, "I've got the power. I've got the power." Well, you've got the degree. You've got the degree. Significant achievements impact the sense of who we are. From this point on, who are you? How will work define you? There will be some outward symbols of your accomplishment. More letters after your name on the agency stationery, maybe that office with a window, and for some of you, your first professional job. Important achievements also bring about expectations from others and yourself. Naturally, you want to do well and build a strong reputation. You want to be successful. But here's the thing. Too often, especially when we are in the throes of adjusting to new situations, we fail to identify a definition of success that fits real life in the workplace. We do not identify a definition of success that allows for our vulnerability. Graduates who've been out of school 3 to 5 years tell me about uncomfortable experiences, not coming off smart in interviews, not getting their points across in public forums, and stumbling their way through projects with little direction. As one graduate expressed it, I thought I was going to a regular meeting to go over some contracts, and before I knew it, all eyes were on me. People were expecting me to handle everything, and I'm sitting there asking myself, how is this happening, and how am I going to pull it off? The uncomfortable experiences of the graduates provide a candid perspective for crafting your own definition of success. So let's get started. First, you do not have to leap tall buildings in a single bound. The most important thing is to believe you are enough. Allow experience to weave the rich tapestry of who you are becoming. The next idea for your definition is a question you might ask yourself often. How important is it for people to like me? Build a definition of success that does not rely so heavily on the approval of others. Tony Brown, a pioneer in television programming for African American audiences and host of one of the longest running national public affairs TV series on PBS, offers us a way to think about who we are in relationship to others. If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies of me. A final thought here is strongly tied to the concern about being liked. Create a definition of success that allows you to say no. Susan Gregg, author of The Dance of Power, tells us, no is a complete sentence, and so often we forget that. We don't have to explain ourselves, just say no. Create a generous definition of success for yourself. Your good reputation will not grow on anything that makes the headlines. Your reputation will grow by the way of small acts. Something as simple as whether you say good morning. People know who you are, and they know what you do. They know if you are someone they can trust, someone who owns up to their mistakes, someone who says out loud, someone who owns up to their mistakes, and best of all, someone who apologizes, someone who says out loud, I am sorry. Several years ago, I came across a few lines of poetry. So far, even after several searches, the author is unknown. We can call on these inspiring words in terms of uncertainty when we are not sure how to respond to difficult situations. I once read a poem I could not write. I once heard a song I could not sing. And then one day, I wrote the poem, I sang the song, and I learned I am able to respond fully to this life. Class of 2018, on this day, we celebrate our belief in your ability to respond fully to life in the real world. We believe in your capacity to create excellence. In a world of breaking news and hot button issues, we believe you are able to bring light to the dark spaces. We believe in your ability to promote the growth of people. We believe in you as instruments of change. I wish you well on a journey of your own making. You've got the power. You've got the degree. Thank you.
I think I speak for all of us when I say that's probably one of the most profound speeches I've ever heard at a commencement. I think I know why. Dr. Prather is not only beloved, but respected in our community. Her words of wisdom, I hope, will go with you, class of 2018, for a very long time, because they certainly deserve to. Thank you again.